Hey, Tom, what's up, man? Let me get my feet on here. I'm going to sharpen my knife here and I'm going to do some work on this pelt. Thank you, Tom. All right. This toy's been around for a while. It wants to. Can you hear me now? Sorry, y'all. I want to use this guide, but I am just, look, when I put my knife into it, and maybe if it's all the way in there. Y'all should be able to hear me now. Sorry, guys, my mic was dead. Thought that one might have been charged, but I can't see anything. All right, so this is what the deal is right now. I got a. You should be able to hear me, hopefully. I'm trying to sharpen this knife. It's sharp in some spots, but maybe one of the sharper knives I had. But it's been a while since it's been sharpened. This little blade guide I have is kind of useless, man, because it eclipses the blade on my knife. Like it's meant for, I guess, for larger knives. There's more hold in there, right? Now forgive me if I'm missing something, because I'm not much of a knife sharpener. I did a lot of chisels. Kind of sharpening the plastic on the thing is really doing. Forgive me, but I don't think that moving around, all that moving around is going to help my blade. really shallow. Y'all can hear me good? Good, good, good. So much for that, blade guy. Yeah, I'm sure the dogs would love to be in here, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, I'm going to show you why I have to yell at dogs now. That's funny. I'm just going to do a little polishing on this blade. I'm not going to use it that much. I'm just tell you why. I kind of got all the meat off the carcass now, or off of the hide. We're down to just like this tiny bit of subdermal fats, a little bit of meat on the edges of the hide that I need to remove. Thanks everybody for being here. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Today, we have a very special guest. A couple special guests. I'm sure you all remember the rail from my bed that failed, right? Well, it's going to do a huge thing for me today. It's going to serve as my basically like my pelting post. This is the deer pelt I've been working on for several days. I got one hole in it here, but other than that, it's intact. It's in good shape. Seems supple. I don't want to gross anyone out. I did kind of look this all up before I started on YouTube today. I'm going to back up the camera so you can get a little bit better view. Dad's Workshop is doing Desperately wanted a little bit of taxidermy today. I'm not an expert taxidermist, just like I'm not, an expert, whenever you can do this, always. This is not for everyone, I did that. And I think I'm so sorry. I try to, if it carries in the house, I did send you an email. Try to warn you that I'm not going to be doing this today. I will tell everybody I won't be talking about the kill or the hunt at all today. It was advised to me not to do that. Especially since my channel is more about crafting shit than it is about that. Definitely there's a lot of hunting channels that come on more about hunting that's not my channel. But this is a pelt. It's real soft actually. I wish it was a little cooler out here. I think it would have been easier to preserve. It doesn't have a bad smell right now. I know a lot of people that look at pelts and know that this can be pretty warm and it can smell pretty bad sometimes. Especially when you're going in your normal climates. Okay.
I'm gonna kill it. I'll get you a different fan.
Yeah, it's kind of there to help me with bug control too.
I'll get you actually just pointless. You just hear it all in the background.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Hopefully everybody can hear me. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Thank you, Heather. Ooh, I just cut myself real bad. Hey, you got me a Band-Aid. The knife is sharp now. Just cut myself real bad. Just wiping that knife down, I caught the edge of that blade. That's alright. Also, alcohol or peroxide if you could. Sorry. I don't want to get blood on this yet. Welcome. Baby Kid said, "Hi Dad, I have never cleaned a pelt before, no. Family members of mine have taught me something about it. That's where I get this buckskin from here. Like, this is a completely tanned piece of buckskin. It's not much left of it. I've had this for probably 20 years. This is from my cousin. Obviously, everybody puts holes and stuff, so I know I'm not alone with that. I have not ever cleaned fat off a pelt before. This is new to me. Though I have a sense of how I should do it. I did dress this entire deer, and Heather and I skinned it. So. Just waiting on Heather's gonna grab me some dressing for this cut. I just cut myself with a knife, unfortunately, while I was cleaning the schmutz off of it. So I'm gonna use the knife, but not as much today. I'm gonna take I have a kind of a blunt instrument. I think is gonna be used on this. Yesterday I spent a few hours actually peeling all the subdermal flesh off, kind of. BK, have you done this before? Not a lot of hunters actually do this. I think a lot of hunters just take the rack and the back strap and they call it a day at that. Got a little sharper than I expected, sorry.
That's all right. I apologize. I was thinking of using it. I got open this. I thought you were going to moist towel up. DK came in and asked if you had.
I did. I saw that. Yeah.
I had the sound off and on, so.
How about you, BK? Have you ever done this before? Heather's dressing my cut right now. Sorry, folks. Kinda. The other part, you mean the dressing?
Oh, sweet slank on banders. It makes it even better.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that, BK, because I know BK's up in Wisconsin. This pelt right here comes from southern Minnesota, so it's not far from your neck of the woods here. This pelt, and I try not to. I shouldn't call it a pelt. It's tanned leather, so it's different. I'm gonna keep the fur on this one. Yeah, I got salt too. Yeah, I got salt on this. I've salted it a couple times now, and I got some brains too. I'm gonna brain. What you call it? Brain tin it. So we saved the brains for that. I think I got it a little too pitched up here. Pitch it down a little. No, you gotta go. You can't sit under there. Of course, he wants to sit under there where the meat falls off.
Yeah.
Stinky meat falls off. That's where he wants to be.
You got 115 people right now.
People like this stuff. This is my demo neighbor right here. This is the back of my drawing knife. I thought this might work. I noticed it did work earlier here. Trying to marry woodworking with taxidermy right here.
Sorry.
Be careful you don't puncture anything. Is that your dogs?
Yeah. I'm listening.
They know what's out here. Oddly, the dogs are very interested in this, you know. It's something they like a lot. So I got a couple tools I'm using to pull this, to deflesh this hide. I got the back of this draw knife. I got my knife, which apparently is really sharp. I just cut myself with it. And then I've got this piece of wood that I use as the form for my curve cutting on my bunk beds. And each tool has got its appropriate use. Like here on the outside where I've got these little bits of meat and stuff kind of hanging out to the edge, I'm gonna have to use knife on that. That's the only way it's coming off. Stick myself again right there. It's really easy to stick yourself doing this, especially if you're not super experienced at it. Yesterday I did the bulk of the work, so on here I wouldn't be making any big peels. I'd just be scraping basically. And then you basically want to get all this mess off of it too. Anything that's kind of red on there, it's got to come off. I did see a method where somebody took their power washer and put it on the stream mode, where it had that powerful stream, and they clamped the hide down to a table, and it power washed all the flesh off of it. It was pretty impressive. I think it's actually a thing now. If you see me lean over, it's to get the flesh off that I just cleaned off the hide. See, that's kind of what you're doing. You're just defleshing slowly. I'm not trying to gross anyone out here, but this is Dad's workshop, and our demo tends to be the type that kind of likes this stuff. Chase, welcome. Sorry I missed your live stream on Friday, Chase. I've been working and stuff, man. It was Friday, right? That you did your last stream on? Kind of want to keep the position right there, but I'm gonna move it up a little. So I want to get some of these. The edges are where most of the meat is kind of hanging out that I missed yesterday. I was kind of up late at night doing this. if you can get up under that subdermal fat with your fingers, I'm sure I'm telling some of y'all stuff you already know. See, this is where this was an entire leg section here that Heather did a great job of preserving when she was doing her part of the dressing, which was a good part of it. She did a chunk of the dressing herself. I was trying to butcher up the meat and get it packaged. Luckily last night the bugs weren't after me. So better, it's a little bit, this kind of work is better in the cold for sure. I got bugs after me, so I'm going to have to put some bug spray on. Generally, man, when they smell meat, like I got dogs around me right now too, they're not going to leave it alone. It's not going to be something that they're going to be able to leave alone. It's just their instinct, evolution, man. This part was tricky. It was being a bear to me last night too. How's everybody doing? Just cut the mess out of my finger. Not good when you're dealing with this level of bacteria here, but how's everybody doing today? Just making sure I didn't miss something in the chat from y'all. Yeah, right now we're tanning a hide right now. Actually, is what exactly we're doing. Let me spray some of that stuff. This hide does not stink. There's not a lot of smell to it. I took it out early. I did bathe it in some ice, and I bathed it in a real heavy salt brine the first day, and that helped a lot. It's been salted a couple times, pickling salt. I used some sea salt the second time. I was just using whatever I had. Of course, you know, the better you can work with what you have, the more value you're getting out of whatever it is you harvested, obviously. A lot of people put a lot of money into hunting, and I have some issues with that, as I said before. It's not free meat if you're spending tons and tons of money to acquire it and then handle it. So this is kind of the I want to say this is a four leg here. Heather got almost that whole leg, which is good. The more I'm trying not to cut any parts off. I did cut a little piece off last night that I felt like was not really retrievable. It was kind of getting on the slimy side. You see it's red around these perimeters areas. That's where I really need to get after, like here. That's the stuff that is kind of yuck. I also did a cold bath of this thing last night after I skinned it or defleshed it. I spent a few hours doing that. It's pretty backbreaking, man, if you don't have a power washer, apparently. Like I said, using my draw knife in here and then my buck knife to which I just cut the mess out of myself with a couple times. Even when we were dressing it, I got myself a few times pretty bad. And when you salt it, you got to be real careful to also get the edges. They're the parts where the salt doesn't want to stick. It wants to fall off, right? Easy to get the salt in the middle. That salt wants to fall off at these edges. Just something I learned, something I discovered. Bro, anybody can do this now. And in the world, we never know when we might have to rely on this stuff again. So, yeah, so I think you're right, babe. DK said, I think vinegar also softens the hide. Well, what vinegar does is it's going to keep it's gonna keep the fur. I want to keep the fur. It's a beautiful coat, right? So I want to keep this, and the only way I'm gonna be able to keep this fur is if I treat it with an acidic substance. If I was to put lye on this, like I have a bucket of lye over there, I can make a lye sodium hydroxide water solution and definitely tan this into leather quickly. But what I want to do is preserve the fur, and so I need to do I'm going to do a heavy vinegar solution on it. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hope everybody's having a restful Sunday. Yeah, so the salt dries the hide out. So once you do that, that's when you want to soften it. This one has not dried out. I haven't really let this dry out yet because I've soaked it several times, like in cold water, to try to keep it from rotting and keep it smooth so I could do this on it. So it never really, and it hasn't been dry enough and cool enough, I think, to get the moisture out. It's going to get hung up in here in Dad's Workshop shop today. As BK mentioned, I do, in the comments, I do spy on myself. That shot I took the other day in that video is of Dad's Workshop. Pretty decent space out here, even though I've cluttered it up with stuff. First day, the flies were really on this. We had to focus more on butchering the animal and make sure we preserve the meat. And then after I cleaned a lot of this off and got it salted and kind of moved it into a shadier spot, I stopped having as much trouble with flies.
I'm just letting you know I'm gonna sit on my head's camera. I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
That's on me.
That's fair. That's understandable. Ooh, the flies are really after me.
Yeah, let me see if I can hook you another fan. Toby, that needs me.
I can answer questions really loud too.
Well, now we can hear you, but I got another box stand. I can put it for you.
What did you tan with? BK said I kept my fur soft. I kept my fur was good soft, but I didn't know about vinegar. Who's the one who said vinegar? Oh, she must have read that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. These This looks like a spot that needs attention here.
Let's see what's going on. You got just this phone over here. Like, is that better?
I got a little hole in it right there, unfortunately. Feel bad about that. I wanted every every one of these extremities I could save, I was going to try to save, you know. What I said was every one of these legs I probably was trying to save. I just cut a hole. You know, this is like I did say to BK, I've never done this before. The hide prep, like the tanning. I know it's like people consider it one of the nastiest jobs. And I'm sure it could get worse. I haven't had that experience just yet. I've done nastier things than this, I think. People just had me thinking this is the absolute worst.
Yeah, I think probably most times it smells worse. Right now the smell is really not bad. Knock on wood.
There is a smell, but it's not what I would consider unbearable.
BK says if you get another deer, you can get the hide. You can freeze the meat in quarters, work on the meat later. It's easier to cut up frozen anyway.
Yeah, I agree. We didn't have enough freezer space. We don't have a floor freezer. We had to actually fit this animal's meat. Oh, looks like I froze.
No, you're not.
What?
Not on mine.
I'm not.
I'll go check.
We actually had to try to process this meat and get it into our regular freezer, you know, and we were able to get it in there so far. It's not been all processed. We don't have a grinder either. Yesterday we did tacos. They were delicious.
Yeah, she said, do you guys have a canner for canning it?
A what?
Canner.
No, I do know how to can without one, but we also have that Instapot, which is great for canning, at least small cans. But no, she's talking about big, huge cans, right?
Yeah, I assume so.
So after I scrape as much as I can scrape from this, I'm gonna re-salt it and kind of bundle it up and try to do that again. Then I have the brain of the animal preserved, or we have it. It's in the freezer at the moment. We're gonna use the brain to tan it. I'm also gonna use some. I've got that oak that I collected. I'm gonna boil those oak branches in water until those tannins come out. This is how we're gonna do it. Use the vinegar. We're gonna use the oak, and we're gonna use the brains, and that's how we're gonna tan this hide. Little cold chisel, little mallet, you know. Toby fell asleep next to me. One of the dogs fell asleep next to me. I'm gonna wait till I'm out of here. This is the hide right now, right? I think it has a beautiful color to it. This is tricky because all the weight's on the other side when I do this. Is why these edges have been hard. But you see there's little pieces of flesh I have to get still. Interesting. She uses beef stock in there, huh?
It's tasty as hell. It's the way we season it with Worcestershire. You couldn't even taste the Worcestershire.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm gonna tell you, just blind taste test. If somebody were to give me that yesterday, I would say, other than I added a little too much salt to it, it was maybe some of the best meat I've eaten in my entire life. And then the day before that, when I first harvested the animal, I cooked some for Heather and I. Just threw it on the skillet with peppers and onions. Cut it pretty thin, obviously, because you know it's a very, very lean protein, and can be chewy if you cook it right. That was really good. That was kind of a taste test, just a tiny bit. And then yesterday we made like taco bowls. We got like, you know, probably 30, 40 pounds of meat, maybe more. As much as you can do like this, it's always best because this is the easiest way to do it. You can kind of feel it free itself from the pelt, the subdermal fat and meat layer here. I mean, it's not for everyone. I give you that. Some guys can shoot them, but they can't do this. You know, it's just. Like I said, not for everybody, but neither is anything that takes a little bit of stomach. Yeah, I cut a hole right there. I feel real bad about that. It's free enough. This knife is sharper. Yesterday I was having trouble doing that, following it with the knife. Things like that. Also, I was in the dark though. Oh, I got a bucket. There's not much going on the floor right now. It's not soaking wet. It's been hanging up on me. So. Oh yeah, I got a tote under it right now. Thank you for coming. These are my members that are in the chat, folks. If you want to become a member, definitely click that little dollar bill down next to the chat thing if you want to chat with us or ask questions. We do mostly members only chats here, so you're free to watch and things like that, but if you want to participate and join the family, we'd love to have you. We're all about everything ethically. We don't do. This is not a hunting channel either. This is a workshop channel where we craft things. It's a handcrafting channel. We're all about doing things the natural way. We try to do things the old-fashioned way as much as possible. That doesn't mean all the time, as I've said before. We do things natural as much as we can, within reasonable limits. Something's happening. Glad to see so many people in here today. That means this must be interesting to folks. That's nice to know. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. I am on Instagram with only 94 followers. Go to my Instagram and follow me on there, and I might have her make a post for me, but because I'm not, I know she has a headache right now, so it's not a good job for her. But what I need followers on Instagram, and so I'm gonna make a post on my Instagram, folks. Go find me. I think I'm just at CalvinSeetin. That is my name, CalvinSeetin. Not afraid to tell you my first and last name. Probably not a good idea for you to hunt me down. Not a good idea for you to hunt me down. I'll be fine. But that is my name, not afraid. Love everybody. Big people person. Find me on Instagram. I only have 94 people. I'm going to put a post up there. If you respond to my post and you start following me, I'm going to make you eligible for the next giveaway, which is going to be some soap and a soap box and some other stuff. Probably a little soap holder, some other stuff, and even if you don't like it at this holiday season, we make good soap here. And we don't use animal products either. All of my soap is actually, well, you can't call it vegan if it's got beeswax. So if I don't make it with beeswax, it is vegan. But the ones with beeswax, it's all natural. We use all natural stuff. There's a lot of research saying that venison is one of the healthiest proteins. It's very expensive. Call your local butcher shop and see how much it is to get you a back strap. That's the prime cut from a deer. It is not cheap at all. Part of that reason is it's hard to get. I mean, people don't want to do the work themselves. They want to have it prepped for them. But how the sausage is made is kind of part of the deal with venison, unless you have a good game meat butcher, and there are game butchers too that are just like specialize in game, and they're not taxidermists. Taxidermist is a person who deals with the parts of the animal and stuff. Butcher shops often deal with game animals because it's no different than dealing with a domesticated animal. So they process other people's game. Sometimes they get to keep parts. Sometimes they just do it for money. Man, I'm telling you, Heather, that's a lady right there, dude. From Long Island, New York, this girl. I should see her dressing a deer. Blow your mind, girls are natural. She's done it since we was little. Should post a picture of that on YouTube. But I try not to offend people. This is not a lot of hunting. We don't do a lot of hunting content. I got a kind of a mixed audience. People that, some of which respect the hunting culture, some of whom are not big on hunting at all. So, and I love all of my folks, and I respect all of your opinions too. I have my opinions on it. As I've said before, I think the other day I kind of outlined what my opinions are. I have some very pointed, specific opinions about hunting and hunting culture, especially in the South. I think it's gone way crazy, way too much. It's not the same as a guy going out with a bow anymore down here. We got 50 dogs and they just rustle up the deer out of the woods. Hey, 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 hey. Don't eat that. Nowadays we buy everything, we buy our meat, we buy our clothes. And apparently we also, people who go hunting also buy someone to clean their game, so they don't have to do this, or a lot of them have not done this. That does not include the present company. BK says she's done this before. Shout out BK, shout out all my members that are in the chat. Appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Double tap that screen and like this video, please. Around these edges, it's just a little bit more. They say always when you're doing this, work from the edges into the middle. I haven't really been following that rule as I've been doing this here. Can't even wipe my knife with my hand, it's too sharp. Because it says tapping the screen is being polite. If you're watching, no one knows if you like the live stream. It really does help. 2 taps, just double tap that screen. We love y'all, and we don't hate animals. We love animals here. All of us are big animal lovers. Okay, this is not meant to demonstrate any kind of a brutality or disrespect to this animal. I have tremendous respect for this animal that I'm treating right now. Tremendous respect. So much respect, I won't waste any of it. I took as much as I could, down to the brain, everything.
She says if we have table salt, we can help absorb the liquid. DK says if we have table salt, it'll help absorb the liquid.
Well, yeah, table salt, not on the hide. That'll make the hair fall out. So the iodine will make the hair fall out. So you gotta use you can put it below, but it'll take the hair off the hide if you're trying to preserve that. If you use iodized salt. I have sea salt over there though. That's gonna go on afterwards. I feel so bad I cut this hole in, and that's like the key part.
Oh, Wes in the chat.
Hello, Wes. No, already been skinned actually. This is the skin. Apparently I'm skinning myself too in the process. Welcome, Wes Does It. Valued member. This is a deer pelt. Wes Does It said, "Hey, Miss Heather." Wasn't planning on doing this all day. You guys know I don't normally stream on Sunday. This is a very special stream for me. I wanted to kind of show y'all that a lot of the missed streams the last couple of days have been me handling this animal and all the meat and also working. So I have to coming to a point where I have to work, and so I've been at work essentially, and then the other time I've been at home, I've been processing this animal, and this large animal. It takes a lot of work. Generally, you know, and I'm telling a lot of people here everything they already know, but you got to get these little, as much of this little subdermal fat and meat, flesh off of these. Otherwise it wants to rot and draws insects. I'm almost at a point where I'm going to start taking I'm going to use the back side of my draw knife and just scrape it. I was really concerned because last night there was a large area of flesh still on it, and I managed to get my fingers up under that fat layer and peel it off. If you peel it off, you feel the touch of the skin under it feels like leather. It's hard to describe to somebody who hasn't done it. I know it's probably unpleasant to think about, but when you get below that fat layer, it actually feels dry, like lamb leather gloves, basically.
Wes asked, did you harvest meat? Sorry, late to the party. And then he also said, is that the bed rail coming in handy?
The what?
The bed rail. And he said, did you harvest meat?
Yeah.
And then is that the bed rail?
Yeah, we did. That was the first priority. The pelt was not first priority. I did want to preserve it because we did a pretty good job skinning it, Heather and I. I mean, especially for people who have not don't have, let's put it like this, don't have a lot of experience is an understatement, right? So yes, the first priority was the meat for us. We know how good that venison protein is, super good for you. All the science now is calling it basically like a superfood in the protein department. Very, very lean, healthy protein. I listened to this health podcast talking about protein quality, and all protein, all meats is not created equal in terms of the quality it provides to your body. So the answer to Wes's question, the shorthand answer is yes. We butchered the animal first. Butchered the animal first, then we cut the meat up into different, separated it based on part of the animal, and I've been working on high for the last few days. Pretty much all of the meat is now in the freezer. I'm so happy to have everybody here. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Yeah. Oh, you haven't was harvest. Yes, I did harvest the meat. That was very important to me. Very important to have as well. We're not gonna screw things out. We're actually hungry here, so my first thing I did was cook up some of that meat. It is tricky to get the feeling of pulling a piece of it back and getting your knife up under it and then following with the knife. It's not, I don't think it's like, it doesn't come instinctively. You have to kind of figure it out, watch someone do it. It's a weird motion.
Wes asked, are you gonna make some cool mittens or what?
That's what I want. I want to have Heather make me a pair of mittens with this. I was wondering, this is a lot of pelt here, but when it dries and cures, it's not going to be as big, and we got this hole here, so it's not contiguous, right? I think this would probably barely make a pair of mittens, right? Like with just that swath. So yeah, actually that was exactly what I was thinking. Mittens that the tops fold back so I can get my fingers out of them.
Yeah.
That was my idea, but
we could probably make mittens and then maybe like
either that or a muffler, right? So you can stick your hands in, right, to warm them up.
Yeah.
Because those can work.
The
really
other thing
good.
that would be tempting to not to do with it though would be like socks, because that feet warm is a big thing. But we're in a warm climate.
Yeah, I have hot feet. Although I did last time I went out to the mountains when I went bear hunting, my feet did I got hypothermia out there. I mean, even in the blind, I was passing out. That's the first sign that you're really cold. I didn't mind because I'm used to the cold, so that's the problem. I'm like very tolerant of cold temperatures, and when I was out there, for the first time in my life, my feet were cold. I really don't usually get that.
PK said her sister-in-law's doctor told her to only feed her venison when she was having bowel problems when her daughter was about 6 years old.
It seems to agree with the body well, I'll tell you that.
I'm with you. I concur.
Yeah, it seems to agree with the body very well.
BK said, and a nice hat. That's true. We could do mittens and a hat. That would
that's
probably be
what
enough.
Someone else was talking about. Yeah, I heard that from someone else too, a hat. Yeah, you could make a really warm hat with this. What was the other items I was thinking of? I was thinking you could make a pillow, right? A really special pillow, or a small throw for a seat, right? Just as a pelt.
I would be worried about the dogs with it, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Even when it's in.
Kind of every piece of furniture you have is subject to dogs. Once it's tanned, it's like not meat anymore. Maybe a dog wouldn't. I don't know. Somebody out there who's had pelts around their house, like pelt robes, and has dogs, let me know. If there's 100 people watching, somebody could probably let me know that. Like I said, man, I definitely totally understand this is not for everybody. I sent an email or two out before I did this live stream so I didn't scare folks, because some of my members, this is not their thing, and I get that. But I thought it was important to share with you all what I'm doing, and Heather and I are truly animal lovers. We really love the animals. That's really important for y'all to know. We do this with no malice in our heart for anything. We don't kill anything. We harvest it, right? I want to be careful with this rail, the way I got the curvature, I could actually poke this thing. So now, I've kind of gone around these edges. I think I'm gonna have to do everything I just did it again. I'll probably do it on my live stream tomorrow. But what I'm gonna do now is, I got a spot right here. You see that? You don't see that? See that little spot? You gotta get all that stuff out.
Yuck.
Yeah. I don't want to roast people out. That's one of the things I say when I AI this. Don't roast people out. It's dangerous to get close to your fingers with this thing. I did notice where the fur is white, the leather is thinner, right? An interesting thing I never noted before. Again, someone also has done this with a power washer on YouTube, so if you're watching and you're curious to other easier ways to do this, you can sprawl the pelt over yeah, man, the pups really like it, I tell you, but we need to make sure that the meat is like ground up and small for them to eat. I should have kept the liver, and I didn't. That's one piece I did not keep. There was just so much lean meat for us to keep, and I wanted to get the guts out of there. In a way, we have animals all around, and I had to bury the guts, you know. But yeah, the pups venison is awesome for dogs. It's great for predatory animals. It's one of the will be their natural food in the wild, right? The most expensive dog treats, if you go to a dog treat like a dog treat boutique type place, it's going to be treats made out of the internal organs of deer and game meats. And another piece, and you get this subdermal fat layer and you pull it. Try to get it. It's like if you ever pull a piece of duct tape, you know, it's all ripped up. You try to grab it and then, you know, even it up with the other parts you're peeling. And as you do that, you can pull more of it up. That's what I was doing last night. The best thing I can compare it to is trying to take a piece of duct tape and peel it like that it had been ripped in multiple spots. Kind of is the BK said they gave my mom a buffalo bedspread, different piece sewed together. It was tan to almost black. She had a Yorkie. Did the Yorkie eat it? A little tiny Yorkie. And buffalo hides are, that's what the Inuit people cover they don't have teepees, but they're hunting homes that they have. If they don't live in igloos and they use teepees, the teepees I believe are covered with either muskox hides or buffalo hides. Reindeer are what they like trade in. I don't think they use the reindeer hide. The buffalo hides are so warm. They can get it to like 80 degrees inside one of those huts. Let's put this on. I'm going to clip it under, and I'm going to work the center of it a little bit. Now that I've kind of worked around it, I probably should do that in a little more organized fashion next time, so I kind of know where I've gotten and where I haven't. I'm going to take my draw knife over it. This is the center of it, and I'm going to take the draw knife kind of with the dull side down at an angle. Yeah, here's me getting a chance to use that rail that I made, right? I also have this wooden form that I made. This works too. Got a little bit of schmutz on it there. Kind of, I've heard sharp and I've heard dull. I tend to think dull is better. Y'all remember I used this for the curves on my braces. I saw somebody working with a tool that looked just like it to deflesh the hide, so I was like, hey, I'm going to try that too. Something just like that. And as I said earlier, we're going to take the traditional means, so I'm going to take those oak beans that I had, soak them in water, boil them until the tannins come out, and we're going to take the brain. I saved the brain from the animal. We'll use the brain, and I will mix that with the oaky tannin water, and that's how we'll soften it, but it's not to that stage yet. It still has to like dry, and I had it soaking for several days, so it's still fairly moist right now. And that's what I said I was going to do, so let's do that for a second. And here's the back of the draw knife. This also is schmutzy right now. Clip is right here. You wear leather. This is probably the nice, kind of the nicer way of how it's made. It's actually more stinky and nasty. Usually when it's non-game meat, you know, when they're domesticated animals, look at how much poop and stuff is on a cat, right? As we were cleaning this animal, we were dressing it, I was just thinking how much nastier it is to harvest a domesticated animal. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying I know that has to be done, but they're covered in poop, you know, trying to keep your meat from getting spoiled. Trying to keep the poo away from it, right? Domesticated animals are covered in that stuff. Yeah, I'm tempted to get an electric grinder, but since we have this deer, and I don't know if I'm going out, it would have to be something. I mean, I definitely have thought about providing for Heather and I by doing this. It's gone through my mind. I can do it. It's all patience, man. Making progress here, ladies and gentlemen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt this thing. Alright? Try to find a way I can kind of turn it into a situation that's going to accept my salt right now. So I got this thing with all this nasty kind of meatish stuff in it, and I got to get rid of that. I'm going to take this thing off. I'm going to remove my old bed rail thing. Move this stuff here. I don't want this clean. I don't want any like meat stuffs laying around in the garage. Probably not a great thing to have in the shop. Chunks of meat, right? So let's take this out of here. Obviously, if you cut yourself doing this, and I'm speaking to myself as much as I am to anyone else, because I did cut myself a couple times a day, and this is really filthy work. Basically, you need to make sure that you spend time disinfecting your cut and dressing your cut properly, because it's just been exposed to a bunch of bacteria. BK says she gotta go. Grandbabies also, it's football time, right? So I'm not gonna try to compete with that, ladies and gentlemen. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I salt it here real quick. I take this pelt and put it over these two sides like this. I want that getting in there. We're gonna just salt the crap out of it really here. You know what? I'm not. Better situation. Yeah, we'll do it like this. We're gonna do it like this. Last night was giving me a bunch of problems. I'm gonna try this. Get lighter too on the edges. Alright, hold on. Non-iodized salt, if you're trying to keep your pelt, your fur, right? You're trying to keep the hair on the pelt. You want to use non-iodized. This is a finer salt. I've been using really coarse, so this is probably a good one to use here. I'm gonna rub this salt into the pelt. can freeze it. You can throw it back in your freezer. This is not going to go in our freezer. I'm sorry. And we're using traditional techniques. They didn't really have a freezer then, so you know, trying to show stuff people they can do at home without the space. This is actually sticking really well right now. I was having problems with the other rock salt. It's too coarse. It didn't want to stick. And the real key thing is to get all these extremities, like these forelegs and stuff. I have cuts all over my hands. Imagine how bad this crap hurts right now. It's not comfortable. That's a hard job, man, being a taxidermist or what they call a furrier. A tanner. As the tanner would have been back in the day, the person who did this. This stuff's sticking a lot better than my last saw. Salt reduces bacteria, so it keeps it from rotting. Real salty. You want it salty, salty, salty. All the extremities, all of that. Good, man. And it's much drier than yesterday. It looks like it's going to be in really good color. So, put it up there. There's so much salt in here. I hope people will move chunks that are going to make a difference. And that's what we have for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to Dad's Workshop. Do make sure you double tap that screen. We are going to leave for the day. I want to shout out all my members, baby kisses. Tom was in here, Plywood, Wes Does It. All of the great questions today. I know it was an interesting, different content. New Beginnings Woodworks. Chase, Heidi Shoop being in the house. Appreciate all y'all. Shoop's Wood Shop. Check out those channels they got there. Double tap that screen before you go. Love y'all. Do the next right thing, and I will see you.